Hi, this is Chike Coleman from Real Reviews, and we're back again with another episode of Real Reviews Cinematic Underground. And I'm back with Chuck Koplinski. So, what have you seen this week?
Wow, you just jumped right in.
Yeah.
I thought you were you're just gonna dump this on me?
Yeah, it's one of those days.
Yeah, we had one of those days last week. I want to talk about The Possession.
Okay.
And I want to talk about The Word. So The Possession's already a week old, so let's get to that.
Okay.
You know, it's hard to make a demonic possession movie anymore, I think, that's any good.
Right.
I mean, after The Exorcist came out, I mean, they were done to death, and many of them done poorly.
Right, so what's this one about?
This one's about a girl who gets possessed by a devil or a demon.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah. Well, actually, there are some new aspects to it. Instead of looking at Christian mythology, this takes place within the Jewish faith.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's called what the movie centers around is a wooden box called a Dybbuk box. Okay.
Oh, wait, this is the movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to see this.
Yes. You're killing me. You're killing me.
Good.
This movie was inspired by a story that was written in the Los Angeles Times back around 2004, I think. A guy was selling one of these Dybbuk boxes on eBay. And this reporter caught wind about it and tracked him down and talked to him about it. A Dybbuk box apparently is a box that is blessed, and it holds demons or spirits who have not gone on to the other realm because they have unfinished business.
Wait. If it's blessed, then shouldn't that be a good thing, though?
Yeah, but still, it's not powerful enough because even within the box, this spirit can cause great harm. As we see in the first scene of the film, the box is in an older woman's house. She tries to get rid of it, and the box does not want to be gotten rid of.
So
and
it kills her, right?
No, it would have been better had it killed her. It actually bends her spine back, flails her on. If you remember the scene from the Avengers where Loki got railed on by the Hulk?
Yeah?
Yeah, kind of like that, this poor woman. That's how the film starts, and then the next thing we see is a garage sale. The woman's son has come in, found her. She's all bandaged up, and he's got all of her crap out on the yard, going to sell everything, including this box.
Which the little girl picks up.
Yes, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the father, has just gotten divorced from the mom, Kara Sedgwick, so he has a new house. Dad, you need dishes. So they stop at the garage sale to get him stuff for the house. She gets attracted to this box. Buy me the box. Okay.
I want to know how much this box costs for all the havoc it's going to cause her later.
I think it was $5. I think they got the box for $5, which is a steal because as you look at the box, there's some antique carvings on it. It's very unique because it doesn't seemingly have a handle in which you can open it. But when you shake it, you can tell there's something inside. So it's kind of a curiosity object, and they buy it. And she, of course, figures out how to open it. You know, in her room, at night.
In darkness.
It's never, at high noon on the first day of summer and the sun's out. It's always, Well, of course, she starts behaving strangely.
Now, she stabs her father with a fork.
Yeah, because he insists on her eating her pancakes a bit more quietly. So, and that's the next morning after she has opened the box. Things, of course, get worse. He tracks down a guy. He takes the box to the Jewish community, I believe in New York, and as soon as he puts the box on the table, all the rabbis get up and leave.
Yeah, sorry,
but there's the son of one of the holy people, played by Mitten Sayu, I believe is his name, the Jewish, the Hasidic Jewish rapper, younger man.
Oh my gosh, him!
He's the guy who ends up helping him with the exorcism.
Oh,
and
man.
He is great, and this exorcism at the end. There are two moments I'm really going to take with me from this film, one of them being the exorcism. They do a neat thing in which they do a strobe light effect.
Ooh.
Screen goes black, then it comes up. Black comes up, black comes up, and of course,
and you see the monsters.
Things are happening, and we see this thing. Really well done, not just because of the effect, but because they take the time and you really care about these people. You really figure out where they're coming from, what their pain is, what they want, and if you're a parent at all, that helpless feeling you feel when there's something wrong with your child, and you can't figure it out, and you can get no answers from anyone.
And you can't fix it at all.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I've said for a while, a guy who just hasn't gotten the break he deserves.
He really hasn't, except for maybe the beginning of Watchmen.
Well, but that didn't hit. You know, like I say, he hasn't had that hit to make him more well-known, because I think he's a very good actor.
I mean,
and he's quite good in this.
I mean, if you've went back a few years ago to, what is that movie? Or no, it's a TV show. He was in Grey's Anatomy.
He was in the Grey's Anatomy.
For a season, and he was pretty much the shining star of that entire season.
That's not saying much for Grey's Anatomy. But, you know,
True, but he infused his role with heart and you know, courage and humor.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a really solid actor.
So this is like a good date movie, good horror film. We haven't had a good horror film in a while.
I didn't know you were a fan of horror films, actually.
I'm a fan of horror films when they're done well. Unfortunately, they are rarely done well. This one I really like, though.
Okay. So what else did you see?
What am I going to tote all the water here today?
Oh, I'm
toting all the water.
I'm gonna help out eventually. Give me a minute.
All right, all right. I also saw The Words.
Okay, that's one that a lot of people are looking forward to.
I hope so, and for some odd reason, I've been looking at other reviews, and I think I and about 5 other people in the country have liked this film for some odd reason. I don't get it, because I thought it was very good.
Okay.
Has 3 stories going on at the same time.
Okay, can I guess what the first 2 are?
Sure, but you'll be wrong.
Okay. First one involves Bradley Cooper.
Wrong.
Wait, you want me to do it in chronological order? Or how is that supposed to work?
The first story deals with Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid is an author. He has just written a book called The Words. And the film opens with him giving a public reading of the book.
Okay.
His story is about an author who is struggling, Bradley Cooper. Okay, and he wants to be this artist, he wants to be this great, you know, author, and he just doesn't quite have that talent. He's been struggling, he's been writing, it just isn't working. He somehow or another is able to marry Zoe Saldana.
I don't know how that would be possible.
Well, you know, hey, Bradley Cooper, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, well,
they are vacationing, they're taking their honeymoon in Paris, they go into an old curiosity shop, an antique shop. She buys him an old satchel, an old valise, you know, an old case.
I love those.
They take it home, yeah, leather, looks great. They take it home, he experiences more frustration, but as he's going through the satchel one day to put his stuff in, he finds a manuscript. And he starts to read this thing. And then there's our third story, because as he reads it, we see this story play out. He is taken by the story, it's fantastic.
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
Well, that's a big question. He types it up as his own. He submits it to his editor, and he says, my God, I've never read anything like this. They publish it, it's a runaway hit. He gets very good deals on his books. He has a lot of money, awards come his way, everything's great. But then the guy who wrote the manuscript he found tracks him down, played by Jeremy Irons. And he says, I'm going to tell you the real story behind the story that you stole from me.
Oh my goodness.
So you got the Quaid story going on, because we go back to him after he finishes a section in the book.
Yeah.
We go back to him, and he is dealing with Olivia Wilde, lucky guy, who is a graduate student who obviously has a lot of questions for him and obviously has certain designs on him as well.
Oh, no.
So we're going back and forth between these 3 stories, and I thought it was just fascinating.
It's 3 relationships then, technically.
Yeah, it is 3 relationships, because the Jeremy Irons character, who we then see as a young man after World War II, gets involved with a French woman. And they, of course, have their problems as well. Yeah, it all deals with moral consequences, moral decisions. I mean, we've all been in that moment where we're down in our luck. Maybe we get an opportunity. It really is also about going the easy way. It's like that Robert Frost poem. You know, when you got the 2 roads, you know, you go the easy way, or you go the hard way, and it means more. Well, when you go that easy way, there's always a consequence.
Yeah.
And the Cooper character, in taking that easy way, finds that perhaps his success wasn't worth it. Great story. I just got engrossed with it. The acting across the board is good. I hope this one doesn't get lost, because it's the type of adult-type movie we need more of.
So you're thinking that you're not saying that it deserves any Oscar consideration?
No, maybe Irons for a Best Supporting Actor nomination.
I mean,
But it's just a really solid story and a solid piece of work.
Okay.
Overall.
All right. Well, I saw High Society this weekend for the first time. You know me, I'm a big fan of the classics. And I thought it was rather good. I kind of enjoyed the fact that, you know, well, do you want to explain to our audience what the story is? Because you said it's based off of
the Philadelphia Story. Yeah, it's a
Philadelphia
musical
Story.
remake of the Philadelphia Story. Tracy Lord is the woman's name who is in the film. In the Philadelphia story, it's Katharine Hepburn. In this version, it's Grace Kelly. She was married previously to a character named C.K. Dexter Haven, played by Cary Grant in the Philadelphia story, and Bing Crosby, go figure, in this. It's come to find out that Tracy is going to get remarried.
Yes.
And this brings C.K. back on the scene because, of course, he's never really gotten over her, and she really has never gotten over him.
Yeah.
A couple of newspaper reporters are then sent out to cover this wedding because it's high society, and that's what newspapers used to do back then. The rich would get this kind of attention, and the reporters are played in High Society by Frank Sinatra and Celeste Holm.
Yeah.
In the original, it was James Stewart, and I cannot remember the woman's name there. I want to say Mary Astor, but I don't think that's right. And, of course, the reporter falls in love with Tracy as well.
Yeah.
So she is torn between the fiancé, who really is out of the running from the beginning.
Yeah, very much so.
Her old love, and then this new person who has come into her life. And that's it.
It's a beautifully woven triangle. Well, actually, it's not almost a triangle. It feels a little bit more like a square because it's 3 guys and 1 girl.
Yeah, a quadrangle.
Yeah, quadrangle. So I watched this, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm engrossed in this because I think Bing Crosby's character, C.K. Dexter, is a bit of a immoral man and wants her because he's jealous now that she's with someone else. I like Frank Sinatra's character because he's the most calm out of the 3 to me.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Played by Sinatra.
Yeah, Sinatra playing calm. I was shocked. I didn't think he was capable of it. And to watch, you know, Sinatra interact with Tracy Lord's character and just really be very passive and almost casual about how he feels about her, whereas Dexter is very open and frank about how he feels in various different ways in this film. I should also mention that there are, I guess, what would be considered in our day a cameo by Louis Armstrong and I guess his band at the time.
Right, and they come in late in the film, I think, for the wedding.
Late in the film for the wedding,
right.
And you really see her struggle to choose which man that she's attracted to. Now, regrettably, this is something weird I have to mention. I did not see the end, so I have no idea who she chose. My cable went out, so I missed the end of the film. I do not know who she chose.
They all die.
Gee, thanks. So I really enjoyed what I did see. It was really just one of those movies that I can't say it was uplifting, but you enjoyed the drama. It was really light.
Oh, it was fun. It's fun.
It's lighthearted.
You know, with the music and everything, it's fun.
Especially hearing Sinatra and Bing duet on "Have You Heard?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great because it's a really great scene. I want to set this up where they're in the library together, basically trying to drown their sorrows in the fact that they both love the same person, but they don't. I don't know if they know that they love the same person.
I think at that point they don't.
And so they're in this giant library, and there's a bookcase, and you pull the bookcase, and it pushes back to reveal a minibar.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically...
Every mansion has one.
Yeah, every mansion
Or
has
should.
a Bruce Wayne-like minibar that's hiding in a bookcase. And so they're talking about, you know, how they're enjoying the party, kind of being, I guess, conversational for the sake of escaping the party, and they start into the whole singing bit, and it's just so classic. There really isn't much dancing. It's more of singing and being chummy.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta love it, because you realize that these two guys are rivals very early on, and it's just one of the standout moments of the entire film, I think. Either that or the daydream sequence that Tracy Lawrence character has on the boat with Bing.
Mm-hmm.
When she's by the swimming pool. I like that one too as well. I would recommend it despite having not finished the end. I just think it's a really classic film. And speaking of classic films, there's a modern classic that I want to talk about next. G4 was marathoning these two action films, and I have not
Have you seen the end of these films?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. These two, yes. And they were marathoning these two action films by a very famous director who worked at Blockbuster. by the name of Quentin Tarantino. It was Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. And I wanted to know your feelings on that when you first saw it.
I didn't like him.
You didn't like him?
No.
You know, this is another one of those times, a rare feat, when both you and I are in agreement. I didn't like either of them. It was ultra-violent, kind of a plot that went everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Do you want to talk about what the synopsis is?
No.
No, you want me to explain.
No, I've been carrying the water here. This is you, man.
All right. So you have this person, I think her name is called the Bride, played by Uma Thurman, and on her wedding day, this group that she used to be a part of, this group of, I'm going to say that they're assassins because that's the best way I can describe them, barrage her wedding, beat the crap out of her, and then she gets shot. And then the next thing you see is that you see this truck with a very horrible name on it pull up to this house. And it's Uma Thurman's character, and you're thinking, wait, what in the world? And she's hunting down this person called Two. And Two is played by Vivica Fox. And as soon as she rings the doorbell, the action starts. They have this big martial arts fight that, you know, destroys half the furniture in the house. Yes, Chuck?
Well, basically the film is a flashback.
Yeah.
She is hunting down the people who tried to kill her, and I believe killed her fiancé.
Killed her fiancé
at the
too,
wedding.
yes.
I mean, that's the whole thing. She's just tracking him down, killing him, leading us eventually back to the David Carradine character, who is the mastermind pulling all the strings, and I believe he wanted to marry her at one point as well.
Yeah, and the
so
shock,
it's just a simple revenge flick.
And the shock thing about this, because it's not really alluded to until I think the second movie, is that it's revealed at the end of the first movie that the kid that she was pregnant with during her wedding day is actually alive.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me, this is the point. This is the point where the thread just goes, just falls apart for me, because it's never mentioned how that baby survived, or not in at least enough detail for me. Did you feel the same thing? Because I totally felt that.
I never really had a reaction to it because I never got engaged in the story.
Yeah.
The problem with Tarantino, and he's gotten a little better, but the problem with Tarantino is that he's very full of himself and his knowledge. He's like a little boy who's showing off for us.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I know. Look at all the film references I can cram into my thing.
Yeah.
Because this is nothing more than a extended reference to the films of Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
If you want to get a lot of references and see a much better film, you're in a film called Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah, which was Robert Rodriguez.
What?
Was that Robert Rodriguez?
No, that was Sergio Leone.
That was
You're thinking
Sergio.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's basically what this film is a remake of. He's so busy throwing out all these allusions and references to other films.
The Yakuza being the Crazy 88 or whatever.
Yeah, that at that point, I don't think he has no style of his own.
Yeah.
If you're pulling in so much stuff from other people, where's your voice? And that was a problem I had with Inglourious Bastards as well.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about, Django Unchained being that way too.
What do you think that rips off of for you?
I don't know. It could be any myriad of Westerns. We're just going to have to wait and see. I'm hoping he gets away from it, because I thought that Inglourious Bastards, he started moving away from it a little bit. In many ways, I still think that Jackie Brown is his best film. I would take that one over Pulp Fiction, because it is more of an original vision of his, as well as Reservoir Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I really like those films because he was making his name at that point.
Yeah.
And I like those. And these things, and bad enough that, he does this, but then he stretches it out over 2 films with Kill Bill, which was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. If we had just seen,
Give me a 2.5-hour movie, let me go.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, after you killed the Crazy 88, I would have said, okay, you know what? Show me Bill. Have the final talk. Kill Bill, done. But no. Like you said, they stretched it out over 2 movies. My problem with this film is, like you said, it lacks vision. It completely lacks vision. There are little nods to the Blind Samurai Swordsman movies of the olden days. I forget what years those were made, but they had that with a Lucy Liu type character. Their little showdown with the swords. It really feels like an incohesive mess to me. There's no way I can honestly say I enjoy the narrative of the film.
And it must have been excruciating, because I'm thinking G4 with commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, how long was this thing?
God, probably about 4 hours.
With both films?
No,
just one?
Yeah,
to get through
4 hours together, I would
no.
say.
Oh, okay.
Because the commercials just ate it all up.
Okay.
And, of course, after the 2 movies finished, they just reran the whole thing again. I'm like, I can't do this twice. But I will say that the one bright spot is the martial arts choreography by Wen Ping, I guess is his name, the same guy who did
The Matrix.
the fight sequences for The Matrix. I love him as an action director when he's choreographing martial arts fights. Just a really brilliant guy. But there is no really aesthetic that makes it feel like a general, good narrative revenge story. If you want a good narrative revenge story, see the movie Old Boy. That movie is a great example of what you should do for a revenge story.
I agree.
Or Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. That's a great revenge story. I really don't like Tarantino as a director. I know I'm probably going to be shot for this by saying that, but I really don't like him as a director. I think his main problem is that he focuses so much on how much action can I cram into 5 minutes, more than, okay, where do I really want to take this character? That's something that made, Joss Whedon's The Avengers really good, is that he was able to have all these nice character moments and blend them seamlessly with the narrative of the previous Marvel films. And there was nothing that was really a good lead-in to what we were going to see. The trailers didn't explain anything. And while that's sometimes a good thing, it was an awful thing here.
Yeah, well, Tarantino, I like his first 3 films. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, and then we jump off the tracks.
Yeah.
So, but I still think the man is talented. He has it. I'm always looking forward to it to see if he can, get back to those early days and give us something.
And to me, it seems like every movie he gets farther and farther away from proving it.
Yeah. So we'll see this Christmas.
Yeah. Also, there's another film that I really want to see. Beyond Lawless, Beyond the Words. There's another film that I saw a trailer for recently. What was that? Documentary, I think. I recently found out that they're making a documentary of Roger Ebert's life itself, executive produced by Martin Scorsese. And for every executive produced Martin Scorsese documentary that I've seen, I think that this will probably be a really good step for us to actually get to know what in the world Ebert was talking about in his bio.
Okay.
Because I understand the whole story of his bio, but to see that documented is going to be quite more interesting for me, I think. I don't know who's going to direct it. I think it's the guy from Hoop Dreams, the guy who directed
Steve James.
Steve James. I think he's directing that.
Well, he's from Chicago. He lives in Chicago, so that would be an obvious choice.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be an interesting thing when it comes out. I heard this titled Star Trek II. Star Trek II Into the Darkness is, I guess, what they're calling it. Did you enjoy Star Trek, by the way?
Loved it.
Loved it?
Absolutely loved it.
What did you love most?
The interaction of the characters. I thought they had that perfect. I really loved it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that film.
Yeah, I think it's a great film, and that's one of the films that I wish I had on Blu-ray that I don't, because that one looks fantastic on a flat screen. So I guess that's all we have for our show today. Until next time, I'm Chike Coleman, and this has been Real Reviews. We'll see you next week.